Today, on the Bridge Podcast, we're honored to explore the vital role counselors play in our education system. Joining us for this conversation are Mrs. Annemarie Delgado-Brown, counselor at Kucera Middle School, Miss Kaishauna Kern, RUSD lead counselor, and Arturo Zavala, a 7th grade student at Kucera Middle School.
I want to first thank all three of you for being here on the Bridge Podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out to join us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And let's start off with, we know that school counselors are they're vital. They're very important, not only in the Rialto Unified School District, but all school districts across the nation. And so this is an opportunity. We do know what classroom teachers do. We've had so many on our Bridge Podcast, but we wanted to make sure that we give our school counselors an opportunity also to share with our audience what they do. So I want to start off with, of course, our lead counselor in the district, Mrs. Kaishauna Kern. So thank you for being here, Ms. Kern. Tell me a little bit about why is it so important, and what are some things that maybe we don't know about counselors?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me, by the way. School counseling is my favorite. It's my absolute passion, best thing ever to be doing in the world for me. School counseling is so critical because of the nature of the relationships that we get to have, not just with students, but also with our teachers, our staff, our parents, our community members. A lot of people don't know that with school counseling, there's actually a lot more to it. It's more than just dealing with academics and student schedules. It's more than the one-on-one counseling, but I really see us as we're the advocates and the cheerleaders and the stakeholders and the collaborators that get to help pull all of the pieces together for students to help them be the most successful, to help them have the most resources, to teach them the most we possibly can teach them before we launch them out into the world. And I just think it's one of the most rewarding roles for us, positions for us in a school setting.
Excellent. Now, Mr. Arturo Zavala, you are a student at Kucera Middle School. What grade are you in? 7th grade.
Yeah.
So I know that you were selected to come here and speak a little bit about how instrumental, how important has school counseling been for you at your middle school?
Well, it's been important because, for example, Ms. Delgado-Brown has been my counselor since 6th grade, and she's helped me get into like electives, look at my grades, and whatever I need help in.
So that is pretty important.
Yeah.
Excellent. And since you already mentioned her, and it's Annemarie Delgado-Brown. I'm just going to call you Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown. So Mrs. Brown, tell me a little bit about, first of all, school counseling. You just have your student here expressing to our audience how important your role is in public education and in his professional and personal growth. And so talk a little bit about your tasks, your job, your responsibilities.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me also. I think it's a wonderful career, and I'm so happy that I chose it because it gives me the opportunity to build relationships with students. And we go, like he said, we dive deeper than just academics. I want to know about career goals and their post-secondary goals. And, I get to know them and their families. And really, it's just a place of servitude to them and to get to collaborate. So I feel like being a counselor is really about relationships, and you build relationships with all stakeholders.
Absolutely. Ms. Kearns, I know that you are an alumni of the Rialto Unified School District. You attended Rialto Junior High School. I'm dating us, right? I don't say aging, I'm dating us. So Rialto Junior High School, when it was on Palm Avenue, before it was Chavez Huerta Center for Education.
Yes.
Where else did you attend?
I also attended Rialto High School.
Graduated,
class of 99.
You're a
Row mob is the way that we used to call it. Just absolutely had a great high school experience here. Adored my middle school counselor, Mrs. Wood. Bridget Wood.
She was at Eisenhower High School.
She went to Eisenhower, and then last year I got the incredible full circle blessing of working with her in her last year before she retired.
Oh, wonderful.
So just amazing.
And you've had great experiences.
I've had great experiences.
Excellent.
I had, teachers, educators that poured into me, that saw potential, that pulled me aside, that provided a lot of opportunities for me. Mr. Woji is a teacher that comes to mind,
yes.
who
Walter Woji.
who pushed me into Avid, and I had Miss Scambray as an Avid teacher.
Oh my goodness.
And
So did I.
I played sports. So Ann Cordero, who's still at Rialto High right now, as a PE teacher, she was my volleyball coach for years.
Yes. And I know Mrs. Scambray went from Eisenhower High School. I'm not sure if it was from Carter to Rialto High or if she went to Rialto High, but a very excellent AP English honors. You have it. Miss Scambray really raised the bar.
And she was incredibly hard. I did not appreciate her when I was
Challenging.
here,
Yes.
but she is one of the first teachers that I came back, thanked, and apologized to when I graduated from college.
Oh, that's excellent. And I hope she's watching, and I'm sure she is. And if not, we'll make sure that we send her
We'll
this
get it to
link.
her.
I do want to get back to, like, how are those services in counseling? How do they vary? How are they different from elementary? Because we do have elementary counselors as
Yes,
well.
we do.
And to middle school to high school. Because I think that's important for the audience, especially our families that are listening.
Okay. So there's actually a structure to school counseling, and I think that that's a big factor that many people may not completely realize. So one of the ways that we deliver a comprehensive school counseling program is actually through direct and indirect student services. So our direct services are going to be those individual meetings, classroom lessons, small groups, doing workshops with kids, parents, that sort of thing. And our indirect is going to be where we consult, we do consultation, collaborations like on their behalf. We've been able to build some partnerships with some outside universities as well to help bring in those resources for students and to give them opportunities. Because it's a program, it's a comprehensive program, it's not necessarily that it's different across the different levels. We just have different levels that focus on maybe a different aspect of the program. So one of the things that we're doing in our district is within our profession, we have the ASCA Mindset and Behavior Student Standards. And ASCA,
ASCA.
which stands for the American School Counselor Association. Excellent. It's our national association that basically, has developed and determined what the professional school counselor does and how we do it. Those mindset and behavior standards are research-based. It's a compilation of research all across the nation on what students actually need. And so there's 36 of them. And what we're doing with them is we're actually dividing them out across our different levels so that we can give our school counselors an opportunity to really focus with students on a specific set without losing out on the other standards. So, for example, our elementary will focus on a specific 10, our middle school will focus on another 10, and our high school will focus on another 10. Out of the 36, the 6 mindsets that weren't accounted for, all levels are going to be responsible for them.
And when you're working, excuse me, I just want to stop you there. When you're working with all the counselors, we're talking the high school, the middle school counselors, and Rialto Unified and elementary counselors, all of this is really to gain the knowledge that you transfer back into speaking with students, so they have a better, view. They have a better understanding of where our counselors are already highly qualified to begin with, but have even a better understanding of where they're headed when they have that one-on-one with the students, such as Arturo.
Absolutely. We're trying to make sure that students have an opportunity to master every standard before they leave our system. We want every student to have access to that, exposure to that. And when we're talking about standards, we're talking about things like coping skills, decision making. Are you able to build relationships with peers? Can you build relationships with, adults? Are you able to manage your time and organize? And I mean, just a whole multiple load of standards that we're working with students on.
Thank you, Miss Kearns. So now Arturo, she said so much, right? You're smiling and you're looking at me like, I'm getting it.
I'm really into that.
So, I'm going to pick on you next, because I always have to pick on the person who has awesome hair. So I just want to tell you, so you were, by the way, I want to go back a little bit. You also attended Cordiac Elementary School, Nancy G. Cordiac Elementary School, right? Mm-hmm. And so attending Cordiac, how's your experience there? It is in Fontana, but it's in the Rialto Unified School District.
I would say it was a good experience.
It was a good experience for you.
It was definitely a good school.
Oh, excellent. Of course, it's almost a brand new school for you.
Yeah.
Right? So what is your favorite subject?
Favorite subject, I'll say PE.
PE?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. Okay. So you're a sports guy?
Yeah.
What teams?
What do you mean, what teams?
Like, what do you like? Do you like any professional teams? And what do you play?
So I'll say I'll play football and basketball.
Okay. And what do you like? Any professional football players, basketball players?
Yeah.
Who'd you go for the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl 49ers.
49ers.
Yeah.
My condolences. So did I. Ronnie Lott. Gotta go for the Niners.
Yeah.
Next time. So you're listening to Ms. Kearns, of course, our lead counselor in the Rialto Unified School District, talk about a lot of this.
Yeah.
Well, when you're listening to her, is that kind of resonating? Are you going back to school saying, "Oh yeah, she does that. Oh yeah, our counselors do that."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I don't want to answer for you.
Yeah.
How?
Well, the counselors definitely like help us with like, for example, the Young Men's Summit that we had recently.
At Kucera?
Yeah, Kucera, yeah.
Yes.
That definitely helped me like put more energy or like what would you call it? Energy and passion into.
So I just want to stop you right there real quickly. So what do you learn? What has, and I know she's done a lot, so I don't want to put her on the spot, but what does Mrs. Annemarie Delgado-Brown do for you?
Well, she definitely helps me with, like I said earlier, with grade checks or giving me advice. She's inspired me, like, for example, with the Young Men's Summit.
Oh, that we just
had at Kucera not too long ago.
Right, Kucera Middle School just had it, right?
Yeah. With, like, putting more energy and passion into stuff inside of school and outside of school.
Excellent. And I love hearing that because he's saying this from his heart and no one's coaching you, nobody's telling you what to say. And that's always the holistic and the organic version of it is always the best when it comes out from students. So thank you for that, Arturo. I appreciate it. And I know she's going to continue that. And I know when I spoke with Assistant Principal Mr. Nalik Davis, he was saying, oh my goodness, Mrs. Brown's going to be one of your guests on the podcast. She's awesome. She had a big hand in the Kucera Men's Summit. Talk about the Young Men's Summit, please, Ms. Brown.
Yes. So thank you, Arturo. I want to say thank you for saying that. That just
Giving her a
shows
shout out.
that all our hard work,
Yeah.
that's what it was meant to do. It was really meant to help our young men. So I'm glad that you took something positive out of it. And the way it kind of came about was as we're delivering this comprehensive program, like Ms. Kearns was stating, it really requires us to kind of look at the needs of students. So the counseling team, we wanted to see what areas we should focus our time on or not time, but more services to. And so we're working with some of our young men. And I think it's very easy for people to say, this is what I think kids needs. But we wanted to hear from them. So we created a survey.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm just taking that in. We're asking you what do you need rather than assuming we know what you need. That's big.
And
That's
I was
powerful.
actually really, I think that in theory, I was thinking, they're just going to say, I don't know what I thought that they were going to say. But once we did the survey, it revealed that most of our young men needed help asking for help. And they felt like that was attributing to, any barriers at school. And so our job as school counselors is to help lift those barriers and be their advocates. So that's kind of how the event came to fruition. It was, we're a counseling team of all women, and I felt like I spoke to Mr. Davis
At
and I
Kucera.
said, yes, at
Not
Kucera.
the whole district.
No.
At Kucera Middle School.
And
right?
so I went to Mr. Davis and I said, hey, like, what do you think about this idea? I said, I think it would be really awesome to have an event for our young men that's put on by male leaders in our district, and to just give that opportunity to share their stories with them and how they've overcome things and how they've learned to ask for help and how they navigate the world as a man.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. And I know that Ms. Kearns also spoke a little bit about her background. Can you give us some of yours?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Fontana. My freshman year, I moved to Rancho Cucamonga, and I graduated from Los Osos High School.
Okay. And how long have you been with Rialto Unified?
This is my 5th year.
Oh, 5th year.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I forgot to ask you, how long have you been with Rialto Unified?
So I have completed 1 year only in a couple months under my belt.
Okay. And so how is that experience when you're working with, first of all, how many counselors do you work with? What is a regular day, I don't want to say normal, a regular day for you once you get in there at 7:30 in the morning?
So there are about 48 counselors in the district, which is quite a lot, but it's awesome. A typical regular day for me is rotating around at the different sites. I'm trying to be very visible and present. I feel like if I'm present and in person, I can better support the counselors, but I'm also wanting, because I'm new, coming from within the district is different than working in the district. So because I'm coming in under a new role, I want to spend time on campus. I want to spend time with students and kind of see what the needs are, how I
support
can
the counselors.
exactly how I can assist, where do we have needs, where, what I can do. And so my day, typically, if I'm not in meetings, which I am involved in a lot of meetings, but I have expressed with some of the counselors, the meetings have been a blessing because it's given me an opportunity to speak to the needs or the good things that the school counselors are doing, or to address things that need to be addressed. So I've been very grateful for those opportunities. But when I'm not doing that, I'm on the sites.
Excellent. Where we should be, just to see, because I think it's so important. When I visited Mrs. Woods or Mr. Eric Jackson or even Mr. Ott, there's always students in there. There is volume. There's a lot. So to see them engaged and dedicated, it takes a very special person. And so going back to special people, Arturo, what do you want to do after you graduate?
I want to play football.
You do want to play football?
Yeah.
You want to get your college education? Excellent. Do you have a brother, sister, siblings?
I have a little brother. Yeah.
Where does he go?
He goes to Kucera.
Oh, he attends Kucera?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you say you want to play football, you're going to go to Carter, Eisenhower? What does it look like?
I think I'm going to be going to Carter.
Carter High School?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Then Lions it is.
The Lions.
Kenny Clark, Packers. So, yes, we have a good relationship over there of getting our student athletes onto the next level. So good luck to you. Well, I want to first thank all three of you for being on the show. We really appreciated it. And I know that we got a little bit more knowledge, information, especially our families that are watching, about counseling services that Rialto Unified School District provides and how many counselors we have. So I do want to end the show with asking each of you one word, if you can find one word that describes you and why. And I'm going to start with Mrs. Brown.
I would say compassionate. There's a quote that I heard in grad school, and it was, be who you needed when you were younger. So I always strive to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Arturo?
I would say happy, because I get to wake up every day, play football, basketball. I get to come. I got invited here. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. And you do look happy.
Thank you.
And Miss Kern?
My word is inspire. My goal, dream, desire when I'm working is to inspire others.
Thank you, Ms. Kern. What a great answer. Thank you for the service that you provide to students and staff of the Rialto Unified School District. And thank you all for joining us. I hope that you will all three come back and visit us soon.
Thank you.
Love to. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I want to thank you for joining us on the Bridge Podcast. I'm Saida Jaffrey. We'll see you soon.